Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, today's video, Katana Air VS Katana 100 1x12 hooked into a PA system. No, I did not put the 1x12 in the title, but I have a Katana 1x12, there's also the 2x12, there's the Artist series, blah blah blah. Okay, so one of my viewers had asked if I've compared the two going through a PA, and I thought, well, actually no. Now to make this fair too, I've gone through the headphone jack on both amps. So both amps have what's called record out or headphone record out. So you can either listen through headphones in privacy, or you can use it as a record out into a PA. Now the Katana 100 is the exception where it has its own fixed line out. So it can go direct into a PA that way, and you don't have to worry about where your dials are set, because your dials are going to do nothing other than alter bass, mid, treble, presence, reverb, everything but the volume, okay? So I've decided, let's do this fair. Headphone record out jack with both amps, and I'm using my X5 U2 wireless. Now yes, the Katana Air does have a wireless system, but it is proprietary to that amplifier, okay? So we can't use that same wireless on the other amplifiers. So the U2 system from X5, I can use on either one, because the Katana Air also has its own secondary input for either patch cable or wireless. So there you go. Anyway, so starting with the Katana 100 on clean. Now, both of these amps are hooked into my MG124CX Yamaha mixer, each on their own channel, of course. Gains are all set identical, bass, mids, and trebles all set at 12 o'clock. No effects on the boards are turned on. And the 124CX is actually my sub mixer. It goes into my main mixer on its own channel, which is set. Actually, these are all set at this. Well, I'm set at 10 for the output from the main mixer to the speakers for the audio output section. But all of its controls are all, again, at 12 o'clock. So we've not enhanced or dialed in any different sounds between channels to make one sound better than the other. Everything, I guarantee you 100%, is all set up exactly identical to each other. So, and then all the sound is coming through my Yorkville YSM 8 speakers. The closest speaker is actually to this recorder, which is my JVC, and it has stereo mics, so that's the only way I could set it up in here, so you guys could see what you could see. So the closest audio source is actually right beside us right now. So anyways, but you're going to still get a good fair sound in this room anyways. So there's no hooking up to the computer and no processing of anything. Alright, so let's get on with this, right? Okay, so starting with the Katana 100, clean. And I'm using my Epiphone SG Pro 400 on the bridge and as humbucker setup, because this thing does have splitters. Okay, now let's just unplug and go over this amp. So I got to turn that channel off so we can avoid making nasty noise. Alright, into the Katana Air. Now let's go back to the 100. Now the first thing you're going to notice, and I notice, is output levels, okay? In other words, sound output. You're going through a headphone record out jack, so assuming you have headphones in your head, you're going to noticeably hear a volume output level. So you're going to have to give the Katana Air a little bit more. So let's see what we need to get a little bit more to get as close as we can to the same level. So let's just play this through on the 100. Okay, that's a reference sound. I'm not going to adjust the gain, just the main volume and master. So I've got them around 2 o'clock. Okay, that's a good reference level. Close, actually. I think a little bit more. So let's go around 230. So reference sound. That's pretty close. Okay, one last little shot on the 100, and then we're going to throw some dirt in this. Alright, so let's throw some dirt in. Now I'm on the Distortion channel, which is orange. And let's set this up at 10 o'clock on the dial. And we'll preset this one at 10 o'clock on the dial. That looks pretty close to me. Alright, one more time. Let's turn up the treble a little bit and bring the mids up. Bring that bass up a hair, 1 o'clock. punch out of the 100, or out of the air. A little more crispy, a little more output's what we're after here. Well, you can try and get them identical, but every single amp out there, even from, in this case, Boss, is voiced slightly different from the other. So it's kind of one of those things where it's, do you prefer the 100 or do you prefer the air, right? As far as these two particular amps go. You got to kind of pick and choose your way around that one. To get the Katana Air reasonably close to the 100, and we didn't touch anything on the 100, right? The air right now is set at about 315 for volume and master. Gain we left alone. Bass is around 1-ish, and we're about 2-ish on middle and treble. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, it's close, you know, I mean. Now, can we do anything at the mixer end? That would be my next question. So let's put these amps back to being the same. And leave that alone. That goes middle, that goes middle. Now let's kind of reference that Katana 100. Definitely need some output there. So let's bring the gain up a bit actually. Let's put that in the same spot. So my gain is good. So let's bring the volume. A little more crispy. Bring those mids up a little. That's getting really nice. So all I've changed here is I've brought my mids up at 2 o'clock on the mid. Bass and middle are still in the middle at 12. And I brought my fader from, well, we'll call it 15 is what the number is, to 10. So one little small jump there. And the gain we've got at about 5 o'clock on the Katana Air, where our gain for the Katana 100 is actually sitting at, it's at 2 o'clock. And so 2 o'clock on the 100 and 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock actually on the air. And now the air is actually kind of punchy. There's our reference sound. Actually the air is now outputting a little bit more than the 100, so let's bring the 100 halfway between 15 and 10. So we're going to have to actually take a bit of the mids off of the air. what I'm trying to do here, guys, is see how identical we can get these things to match up and what needs to be done. Coming out of the Katana. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I don't want this video going forever for you guys. Anyways, either way you look at it, both amps are voiced differently. Whether you're going through, well, their own speakers is obviously a huge difference. But coming through the headphone record out, even with the same settings on the amps, they are voiced differently. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, you have to custom tailor your sound to what you like out of the amp, especially when going through a PA system. Now my speakers are Yorkville YSM8 studio monitors. These are not performance monitors for being up on a big stage with blah blah blah, okay? But they are rather obnoxious speakers too, because they do kick out a boatload of power. However, when it comes to these amplifiers, the settings for the programming are identical on both. Okay, we're going through headphone record outs on both, no problem. Everything's cool there. And like I said, we did have everything, even the board, set up exactly the same. We did make a few little changes, we just did, to try and get the air a little bit more closer. It's kind of your own personal taste in that sound and tone you're after. And this is where we all differ as musicians. We're all after this certain sound, you know. Oh, this sounds great. Oh, that sounds like crap. How do I fix this? And you can generally fix any problem. You just have to figure out how. I still think that the Katana Air would be a good amp for gigging live with. It would certainly save you hauling around a lot of heavy stuff, breaking your back. But it's going to depend on your situation. There is a foot switch available for the Katana 100, as well as I believe the Artist. I'm not sure about the 50. I think it does, but I'm not sure. But the Katana Air has no foot switch available. So if you want to jump between songs even quickly, you're going to have to pre-print out or keep your phone handy and you know, I would just program the bloody amp and then just turn the dials and push the buttons where I need to. So you got your little cheat sheet there. But there's no foot switch available for the Katana Air. There's no way it can be done either unless they change that in the next version of the Air and add in foot switch capabilities, in which case this amp is already expensive enough as it is. How much more do you want to pay? That's kind of where I'd be at. But anyways, I like either amp, but it depends on the music I'm going to do, which one I would use. You know, but I've been used to using my Katana 100 through my sound system, and I've really appreciated the sound that I get, and I don't have to screw with any of my bass, mids, and trebles on my mixing board, and I don't mess with them directly on the amp either. I kind of like them all dimed at 12 anyways, so in the middle. But I have a different taste in music, different tonal taste than you guys do too. So I do things differently, just like any of you will. But I think that going through the PA between the two of them, as far as comparing them, the Katana 100 does have a lot more punch output. As far as volume going into the board and being reproduced out to the speakers, it has more punch that way. It has more crisper tones, even with the same settings. The tones are a lot more crisper and cleaner coming out of the 100 as opposed to the Air. The Air, you'll have to just do some slight adjustments on your mixing board, which is not a big deal. And you may or may not have to do some adjusting on the amplifier itself for its controls, depending on what you're playing. And that's the thing, it depends on what you're playing and the sound you're after, and the speakers you have hooked into your PA too, how things are going to get regenerated sound-wise. But neither one of these amps are voiced remotely even the same. Okay, that's a big thing to know about. They're both Boss, yes, but they both have their own voice, whether it be through the speakers or through the headphone output makes no difference. They are voiced differently. So that's something that's unique about them, even running the same pedal effects. Now all the pedal effects will be the same, circuitry the same, performance levels, they're equal, but things are not equal, obviously, for coming through the output stage of the record out jacks. That's not equal output. And of course, like I said, they are two independent amps that are voiced entirely differently, and they have to be, and they would be no matter what anyways, because you're talking about a Katana 100 with a 12-inch driver and 100 watts of amplifier circuit versus, you know, something with two 3-inch speakers and top 30 watts plugged into the wall, or 20 watts on batteries. I mean, there's a huge difference there, right? So I can't say that it's an unfair comparison or a fair comparison either way. I just think it's more of a, if you prefer this sound, you get this. If you prefer that sound, you get that. It's kind of up to you. And space limitations, whatever. You know, that sort of thing. But anyhow, guys, this concludes our video. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm still working on getting a video done up soon, hopefully, of how to program the Katana Air via the app, because to program the Katana Air is all done through Bluetooth, through either your Android or Apple device, be it a phone or an iPad or a tablet. So yeah, we will definitely be taking care of that soon, and getting that up for you guys so you know exactly what you're doing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. And also thank you too for the gentleman who asked the question of, you know, about hooking them both in and seeing what they sound like. That was actually a really awesome question. So that was cool. So thanks for that question, and hey, there you go. See you later, guys. Ciao.